The poor guy has been through hell since about 2017, when multiple allegations on both sides of the Atlantic emerged about him allegedly behaving inappropriately with younger men. None of these cases has ever come to fruition. A big case in America in Nantucket was thrown out of court, never happened, and now, after, a couple of weeks at Southwark Crown Court, all of the offences have been not proven. So he has been found not guilty of 9 sex offences at London's Southwark Crown Court. Joining me now, expert showbiz guru, Talk TV presenter JJ Anisiobi. Thanks for coming in, JJ. Okay. I mean, what we need to talk about here is cancel culture. You know, it's all very well to sit there and say that this guy, I would suggest, if not the greatest film actor of all time, one of the greatest, double Oscar winner, absolutely mesmerising performer, a brilliant talent, was director of the Old Vic Theatre here, gave up a lot of Hollywood millions to come and do, you know, an old thespian job, loves London, but all these allegations surrounded him, and for that he was cancelled. He lost his job on House of Cards, sort of $31 million I think he was earning there. He lost everything. Nobody ever wanted to employ him again. And the point is, right up to now, not a single allegation against him has ever been proved. We can't go on cancelling people just because people make accusations, can we?
This is it. Either we have to say that our court system and our laws are what we go by, or we go by public opinion.
Yes.
Now, at the moment, Spacey is found not guilty. He was tried in this country, found not guilty of, as I said, of 9 offences. Tried in the US, found not guilty. People are still going to go on social media and say, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. It just means he wasn't guilty. We didn't have enough evidence. The fact is, law has said this man is innocent. And that's what we should now abide by. He lost, you're right, he lost. He was actually ordered to pay $31 million back to the production company who make House of Cards. He lost a job on House of Cards. He was also in the Oscar-nominated film All the Money in the World about the Gettys.
That's right, he was sacked from that.
Sacked from that, yeah. He'd finished the film and they got another actor in and they put the other actor's face on top of it, and that actor, I've forgotten his name now, but he ended up getting the Oscar for it. Christopher Plummer, yeah. So Spacey has lost out big time. His reputation is not going to recover as quickly as it should do.
And that's not fair. I mean, you know, what people will say about Spacey now, as you quite rightly say, oh, well, there's no smoke without fire. Well, the smoke without fire syndrome is what has ruined this guy's life. People are just going, oh, well, loads of people say nasty things about him. Now, in his defence throughout this trial, he has said, look, I'm a flirty guy. We know he's gay, obviously, likes to hang around with young men. And when he was at the Old Vic Theatre, there were multiple allegations of inappropriate behaviour against Kevin Spacey. Again, the Met Police came in, investigated, nothing, never came to anything. Now, he said he's a flirty guy, you know, so...
what one person deems as flirting.
One person's flirtiness is another person's sexual assault. But the real question here, as you quite rightly say, JJ, this guy is not guilty on both sides of the Atlantic. No court of law, no police force has been able to substantiate any of these charges against him. And so we are left with a guy whose life, you're quite right, he will not be embraced by Hollywood tomorrow. He won't be starring in a blockbuster for the rest of his life, purely because people made allegations about him, purely because people accused him of inappropriate behaviour. If it's not proven, we need to do something about cancel culture. We can't keep cancelling people. Here's what we know. You and I, we could ruin each other's lives by saying something about each other. And that is wrong. The charges that I make against you, and by the way, I've got a few, have to be proven by the police and stood up by a court of law. Otherwise, we've got to stop cancelling people.
Social media's got a large part to play in this. That you say something on social media that's not true, it spreads like wildfire, and suddenly everyone on there's an expert. Oh, well, I met him and he was definitely like that. I could tell. Look at his eyes. I actually did meet Kevin Spacey a few times. I met him at a few of Elton John's charity parties, and he never flirted with me. He was never inappropriate with me. I don't know if I'm lucky or if I should be offended.
Or
by
ugly.
That. Yeah, exactly. He was a real gentleman.
That's a joke. No, I've met him as well. It seemed like a very charming.
Yeah, he was charming. He was nice. He was good to talk to. I never had it, but I'd heard these rumours about him that he gets over familiar with people. Yeah. He likes to pull boys. Okay, but I'd never witnessed it myself, and I'd never met anyone who had actually witnessed it themselves. It was all unsubstantiated rumours. Yeah. But as you say, someone flirting can be taken a myriad of ways by different people.
Yeah, and while we wait for statements, hopefully from Kevin himself, let's reflect on the kind of talent that has been extinguished by cancel culture. You know, in a way, you could interpret this that the world has been deprived of one of the greatest actors ever. He's an extraordinarily brilliant actor.
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Usual Suspects, in American Beauty. Obviously as the president in Frank Underwood.
Frank Underwood,
in the House of Cards. Just a mesmerising, compelling, charismatic performer.
He's one of those guys, one of those actors who could do the art house films. He can do the independents. He can even do the big commercial comedies. Horrible Bosses. He does a wonderful turn in that. He did it all. He wasn't just big blockbuster. He wasn't just the devoted thespian doing Shakespeare. He could do everything, and that has now been taken away from him and his fans.
Yeah, and I believe that we, the good people of Britain, you know, those of the people here who have contributed to his cancellation. I mean, we've lost a great friend here. This is a man who gave up the potential to earn, I mean, zillions at the highest point of his career. Instead, he chose to come to be the director of theatre at the Old Vic in South London. It's not even a West End theatre. He did that for purely artistic reasons, and he loves London, he loves British people, and this is the way we repay him.
I do hope that there may be a way back for him if he gets some foreign investment in one of his films. I'm sure he's got a gazillion ideas of things that he wants to do next. He's had a lot of time to think about it whilst he's been out of proper work. So hopefully, maybe it's the Chinese or some Arab money can get thrown behind him and he can start tiptoeing his way back in. But if we look at it this way, Johnny Depp was found in this country to be a wife beater. In this country, we're allowed to say that.
In his case against
the son. Yeah. Yet he has now crawled back into Hollywood and he's welcomed. He's on stage performing.
He hasn't crawled back in.
He's been welcomed.
Been welcomed with open arms.
A 15-minute standing ovation in France for him for one of his most recent movie. That is ridiculous. Kevin Spacey found not guilty. There will be no standing ovations for this man.
You see, the thing is, it's a very difficult area. But you know, if you're in an office or something, somebody gets accused of something, and while they're under suspicion, while they're being investigated, they're immediately suspended. Now, I get that. I get it, but it makes me very uncomfortable. You know, because as you say, I could just say something about you, you know, that was horrendous, you know, almost fancifully false. But the company sort of has to suspend you, so your life is ruined just because I said something. So this is a charter for people who don't like people, isn't it?
It is. Just the accusation alone ruined your reputation, and that is. I mean, and Kevin Spacey now, he can't go and sue the guys who were saying that they were victims. Presumably that they're not worth anything.
He can't. They're entitled to lifelong anonymity. And to be fair to them, I wouldn't want to cast too many aspersions about them because, as we discussed earlier, you know, one man's flirtatious advance is another man's sexual assault. So the jury has decided, in their wisdom, that this was a misinterpretation by those who are accusing Spacey of sexual assault or wrongdoing. 7 counts of sexual assault against 4 different men. So those 4 men, according to the jury, misinterpreted the way Spacey was behaving. So I wouldn't want to, you know, cast aspersions about them.
But we have such low rate. Forget Spacey. Just talking more generally in the UK, we have such low rates for conviction for accusations of rape and sexual assault, which makes me think, okay, Kevin Spacey found not guilty, but as I said earlier, people are still going to come forward now and say that doesn't mean he didn't do it. Just because the court's found not guilty doesn't mean he didn't do it.